Hello and welcome everyone, I am Madals and this is another StarCraft 2 England cast. Now today I have got game 2 of a best of 3, it's from the Zotac Cup, and in the top left we do have FXOSlavik, the orange Zerg player, in the lower right ShanZe, the red Zerg player. That therefore means it's a ZvZ, and if you don't know the result of game 1, pause this video, flick over to my channel and go and check it out because it was an awesome game and I really think you should watch it because it was good and everyone likes those good games. Anyway, what do we have to talk about here? Well, the map, Ahana, very narrow entrance to the natural base, so plausible we could see hatch first from at least one of these players. Other options, of course, are things like going for, well, a lot of early aggression. Really, ZvZ just has options everywhere. You can get a pool anywhere you want, you can get an expansion realistically first or after the pool, after the gas, after the pool and gas. There's different options, so it's really hard to predict what will happen. Now, because both players do have overlords on the way out, it's not going to be anything too crazy, and the reason I know that is because basically they've got the overlords. If they didn't have those and we're getting spawning pools, then we could see some early aggression. Now, for those of you who have watched game 1, I think ShanZe did very well indeed. I think the loads of pressure basically early on, along with just the continual pushing, droning at the right times, just staying with his opponent economically, allowed him to just put on too much pain too quickly. Now, ShanZe is scouting out very quickly just to see what's going on, wants to know if his opponent is going for a hatch first or a pool first, and now it is going to be clearly a hatch first from both players, but yet again ShanZe looking as though he is going to try and block it yet again. And if you remember in game 1, ShanZe did a very good job of blocking that expansion and has actually, just because of that, forced Slavik to pull 2 drones, and of course that is going to waste mining time, but does get the base down successfully. ShanZe behind this should be starting to think about a spawning pool at 16, usually it's a 15 pool, 16 hatch. You can get a bit later, but it can be a bit dodgy. The scouting drone though is still able to be up and alive. We'll see the timing of the spawning pool very precisely, and ShanZe's own spawning pool starts pretty much instantly afterwards. The drone's still alive, which is the important thing. Keeping the scouting drone alive is because A, gives you option of more information, or B, you can just bring it home and you haven't lost anything. The gas coming out though for both players at a very similar time here. Now, let me just take this moment to say, if you like my videos and my casts, please subscribe. I get new top level StarCraft 2 games up every single day of the week, and they are all great games, so do please subscribe. Leave a cool comment below as well, let me know what you think of the game, what do you think of the players or my casting. Any feedback is great. Obviously I like hearing from you guys, and obviously thumbs up the video or give it a like or whatever, because that would just be sweet. And tell all your friends as well, because why not? That's the question I pose to you in a very ponderous way. Anyway, both players, they have nearly both got their expansions down now. They are doing a relatively good job of mining the gas. Of course, when they pull the drones out of gas at 3, or well, at 100 gas, if they pull all 3 drones out, it means they just want speed. If they pull 2 or 1 of them out, it means they're really thinking about getting banelings at some point. Now, ShanZe, of course, in game 1 went for an awful lot of speedlings early on. That was his strategy. Made that very quick hatch first build into speedling all in. That works if your opponent doesn't have banelings. Unfortunately for him, Slavik did manage to get banelings up. Now, of course, speed has started, but yet 3 drones still in the gas. Speed started up for Slavik as well, and 3 drones still in the gas. So both these players are going pretty gas heavy early on. Probably going to see some banelings fairly quickly, maybe even just straight up to roaches, which is plausible. The downside to going straight to roaches is that if your opponent goes for an awful lot of Zerglings or Speedlings specifically, until that roach number gets higher, you have big problems because the Zerglings win. Now, the Baning Nest coming out incredibly early for Slavik there, clearly slightly concerned. Having that single Zergling in though will allow him to be feel a bit more confident, especially seeing that there are still 3 drones in gas. Now, we do have the Baning Nest down for ShanZe as well. It's a lot later. The worker count 27 to 25 in ShanZe's favour, so quite a few more drones coming out, and actually Slavik is getting quite a few Zerglings out now. Both players are actually indeed, so 30 to 25, but then of course Slavik is getting out those 6 additional drones, is getting up a spine crawler as well. Both players are indeed doing that, so very standard play. The second gas coming out now. It'll be interesting to see what that second gas is used for by ShanZe, whether it's for a quick lair or anything like that, or whether we just get those roaches out nicely and start pumping roaches. Of course, both players favour getting the lair quite quickly for the roach speed, which is of course a critical upgrade, and lair just started now for Slavik, and that was off of just the 1 gas, but he's now getting his 2nd, 3rd and 4th gas, so of course the options now are 2 base muter, the 3rd gas on its way out for ShanZe, the 4th gas now out as well, so both players could hypothetically go for the mutalisks. ShanZe did scout it though with that Overlord, and unfortunately for Slavik, he doesn't have an Overlord over there yet. One is moving, but of course, that means he is still unaware of precisely what could be occurring. Now, judging by the lair timings and the fact all 4 gas are down off of 2 base, I think both players will go for Mutalisks. And then it really does come down to who can engage the best with both of them, or if one of them just decides to go and attack. Now, we do have Slavik there, getting up the Evolution Chamber. Can't wait to see what he uses that for, whether it is just for the missile attack upgrade to make those roaches more potent, because, of course, the big problem you get if your opponent does go for Mutalisks is they can always just decide to come and kill you. That is a really viable option. If you see Mutalisks and you're like, I can't attack anything, like air unit wise, then wow, both players getting their Spire like within a second. That's awesome. But if you do see your opponent going Mutas and you don't have Hydras or an Evolution Chamber for Spore Crawlers or your own Spire, but you just have a lot of units, go and attack them. Because as you can see, the situation here, both players really only have a handful of Zerglings each. Slavik has a couple of Banelings as well. So if you just have a decent amount of Roaches, you just march over and you kill them. Because Mutalisks do not engage against anything that well. Now, we do hear ShanZe getting up that 3rd hatchery. No 3rd base yet from Slavik, but he does have a big Zergling push coming in right now. That is a grand total of 36 Zerglings, I think. Could be slightly less because some are held back, but still quite a few of them. But the Baneling movement is going to be important, and this will almost certainly force a cancel of that 3rd base. A good engagement here at the moment. Of course, the Baneling is what is going to be the problem. I'm surprised Slavik pulled back rather than just going for the base. That would have seemed like a better move, but got to be very, very careful, because if that Baneling gets a good hit off, or any of these many Banelings get a good hit off, it could be bad times. That Baneling hit wasn't amazing, and for the moment Slavik doing okay, getting much better attack arcs around here at the moment, as you can see, and therefore winning these fights quite effectively. And well, now the Banelings, they do have to be careful at the moment, but Slavik hasn't managed to pick off the 3rd base, has got his own 3rd base on the way out, but importantly, ShanZe has got his up and running. Now we've got 10 Mutas compared to 7 in the production tab right now. Looking around the map, both players showing the +1 air carapace upgrade, and well, that's not a bad choice. You see some people go for attack, some people go for the carapace. The reason the attack is questionably better is because it basically means that additional bounces deal more damage. Specifically, 3rd bounce deals 2 damage rather than 1, if my memory recalls correctly, which it may not. Literally, I've had so little sleep today. It is all very bad. But we do have a Zergling Rumble coming in here. This could be very good. The Mutalisks are being forced to just sit there and deal with that. But here comes over Slavik's Mutas. What is the Muta count? Who has got the most? Slavik with 10, ShanZe with 9. But with the Queens there, that should push it into his favour. But of course, the Overlords are getting picked off. ShanZe is supply blocked. He's getting 5 more Mutas on the way out, though this is completely air dominance right now. And the concern is if your opponent just transitions into Mass Roach and just comes and kills you. But both players do have their 3rd bases down. And this is turning into a very passive game, actually. Compared to game 1, where there was just constant pressure from both players, I have to say, I feel like Slavik at the moment may have the slight upper hand. What's the work count like? 49 to 44, so ShanZe does have the better economy. Now those Mutas need to be a bit careful for both players, because of course you don't want to get bad engagements, but of course picking off Zerglings for nothing is always good, and that is precisely what we should see ShanZe do here as well with his own Mutalisks. But the Muta flock size is what's really important, 14 to 12 in ShanZe's favour, and those 2 additional Mutas, or 6 about to pop actually, that could be very, very potent. And of course the +1 flyer carapace coming down, and it's the +1 missile attack on the way out for Slavik. So perhaps Slavik looking to switch out of this. He doesn't have a Roach Warren down yet, as far as I can see. He's getting his Infestation Pit, so I guess like he could get like Burrowed Infestors and use Infested Tones with the +1 missile attack, but it seems a lot more likely that he'll get a Roach Warren shortly. But still, this is such a bigger Mutalisk pool. Actually now 2 for 1 in ShanZe's favour, and those Mutas could get trapped. That'd be a massive problem. If ShanZe can get in and get a couple of shots off, it'd be so potent. There's 1 Spore Crawler there, and of course the Queen, but quite a few Muta hits going off here. This is weakening it very, very considerably. Needs to be careful. We do also have Slavik moving in with quite a few of the Zerglings to defend against his opponent's Zergling push, that is. And well, for the moment that did come out pretty much even. ShanZe losing a bit more, but not hugely so, but a big counter push coming in, big Zergling run by, and this is causing a problem because so many drones getting killed, 7 drones in total knocked out there, and that does put Slavik ahead economically, and that is what is really, really important, the economy. Now we do have more Zerglings on their way through, and still nothing to defend here, and of course trick me once, shame on you, trick me twice, shame on me, and that is certainly what is occurring here, but that big Mutaflock is, well, big. Basically, 26 compared to 7. Those Mutas can go head to head with a Queen and a Spore Crawler easily. That Overlord is going down. No way that is going to survive, unless of course ShanZe just chooses not to kill it. But look at how quickly that Spore Crawler goes down. Only 3 shots go off. The Queen is going to go down as well now. And basically this means that essentially Slavik's own Mutalisk will have to come and engage. Pathfinder Gland's nearly done. We do have 9 Infestors, but the Spire is getting sniped. That is a big loss, and so many Queens here. Transfuse is going down. But just look at how much damage those Mutalisks can do in large numbers. But here comes the Infestor. That is what you don't want, is the fungal growth. That was a beautiful fungal growth right there. And, well, that really could swing the tide of the battle into Slavik's favour. This right now is getting so close to fungal growth. Still though, ShanZe is clumping up his units, but this is what's concerning, the mass Zergling counterattack, and somehow ShanZe has survived with those Mutalisks still and does go to finish off that Spire. And well, now the mass Zerglings, this could really, really ruin Slavik's day. Now of course the mass fungal growth will finally clean up those Mutas, aside from the reinforcements coming in, and of course now those Infestors getting picked off. This is probably going to be GG. ShanZe is just literally flooding with Zerglings now, and I just don't see any way that Slavik can defend this. He's lost his spawning pool. That means no more Zerglings. He doesn't have a Roach one, so literally all he can build now, well, is Infestors, and he doesn't have enough money to build enough of those, so this is probably going to be GG. Great play by both players. I love the fact that Slavik, even though he's on the last ropes, is still counterattacking. I mean, he's killed, what, 11 workers now, even trying to pick off a couple more. But ShanZe just doing too much damage. Yes, there's the Spore Crawlers there, though. They're going to be a bit annoying. Can just deny their spawning pool pretty much forever. That means no more Zerglings, no more Queens. The lack of injects because of only 1 Queen will really, really hurt, compared to obviously the 2 Queens here. And that is just sad, sad times. And Inject did manage to come off there though, and of course Burrow being researched, Infestation Pit even getting picked off now, and well, if you can't build anything to attack with, it's just a matter of time before you die, and that is exactly what we could see here any second. The Mutas are of course just finishing off that Infestation Pit and going around picking off tech structures, etc. But this is the push you have to be worried about. Look at how many Banelings are coming in. The Banelings everywhere, melting the drones, and well, 7 to 39 workers. There is the GG from Slavik, and ShanZe takes the series 2-0. So great play by ShanZe though in both games. Really showed that he was good at macro, and also the really more aggressive style. So guys, if you did enjoy that best of 3, please give the videos a thumbs up. Please subscribe, because I get new top level games up every single day of the week. And of course leave a cool comment below. Let me know what you thought of ShanZe's playstyle, Slavik's defense, what you thought of my casting, or just anything at all. That'd be awesome. But thank you very much for watching guys. I was Madals. This was a StarCraft 2 England cast, and flick over to the channel to watch loads more. Bye for now.